Hey, this is the Zorgy Baby, and I had an idea. If I pair my 12-year-old computer with a modern graphics card, could I run VR games? Currently, I have two headsets and only one VR-ready computer. Could I spend a bit of money and upgrade my old PC to a VR-ready computer? Only one way to find out. So this is the build. I built this computer back in 2006 and I used it as my daily driver until 2013. It's got an Intel 775 socket on it. It's a Core2 Duo processor. I don't know the exact number. It is 4 gigabytes of RAM. I've got a GTX 650 Ti boost in it with a 160 gigabyte hard disk drive. So this is very far from virtual reality, but I'm going to try and make it into a machine capable of it. Also, I'm missing a PSU, which I lent to a friend, so I got to put a new one in. Look at that beautiful wire management. Perfect, isn't it? Yeah, so obviously this is just for experimental purposes, and if I actually were serious, I'd make it look a little better, but it's fine. So I had an old SanDisk solid state drive sitting around. I'm pretty sure it's broken, but it'd definitely be better than putting Windows on the hard disk drive. Take forever. It's only 60 gigabytes, so it should be enough. Why am I having such issues? Here we go. Just shove it in there. Perfect. Alright, so now I'm just going to make sure that it boots. And if it boots, then I'll swap the processor out. And if it doesn't boot, well, then I don't know. I got to figure something out. Alright, so it actually booted. Fantastic. So I figured out my CPU here is a Core2 Duo E6550. Its clock speed is 2.3 gigahertz. Not very impressive. And yeah, so that's the next thing I gotta do is swap out for the quad core I got. I'm gonna take a credit card, I'm gonna clean off the surface, and then use some isopropyl alcohol to clean off the CPU before I pull it out. So this is the new chip. This is a Core2 Quad Q9400. Clocks in at 2.66 gigahertz. It is replacing my original Core2 Duo 2-core, 2-threaded processor. Interestingly enough, if you look at the contacts, my old processor's got some patina going on there versus this new one. I'm going to try and clean that up with isopropyl alcohol, see if that makes any difference. Performance-wise, I mean, it was running fine, so I don't think it makes a huge difference if it happens while it's installed. But you wouldn't want to put a dirty chip like this back in a computer. So I'm going to clean it up, just take a look at what it looks like. The Core2 Quad is going to be just fine the way it is. So I must be a terrible cleaner because this patina is still just the same as it was when I pulled it out. So I don't know. Not going to worry about it. Alright, looks like it booted. I got the Core2 Quad CPU Q9400 just like I hoped I bought at 2.66 gigahertz. So now all that's left is to install a copy of Windows. So finally all the updates, Windows 10, Steam, Oculus, everything's installed. It took forever. And I'm not really sure why. Obviously it's an older CPU, but honestly it's still 2.6 gigahertz. It should be doing a pretty good job. The RAM is not particularly slow. I mean, it is 800, but it's not super crawl slow. I still think there's something wrong with my solid state hard drive. And obviously the hard disk drive wasn't doing me any favors. So now that that's all done, I was going to switch in the new RAM. However, something happened with the shipping, and I only got 2 out of the 4 2 gigabyte sticks. And I might do this, but I don't really want to swap in a couple of sticks so I could have 8 gigabytes opposed to 4 gigabytes because I could have system instability. So I'm just going to leave it with the 4 gigabytes for now. Hopefully it works. It probably won't, but now we're ready to put in the new graphics card. Alright, there it is, the old GeForce GTX 650 Ti Boost. Not a terrible card, actually. Honestly, like, it still runs, runs games, like, runs them. You might not be getting the best resolution or the best frames, but it'll do the job. And here it is, the GTX 1660 Ti. And there we go. Let's see if this will work. And oof. I don't know how this memory is going to go. 4 gigabytes of memory. We're already using 2.3. I haven't even launched Steam yet, and Oculus still has to run. So this might not be a good experience without the extra RAM. But we will give it a shot. My memory's almost maxed out. Not great. Oh, that actually looks better. Oh, okay. So I don't know what was happening, but looks better now. It's pretty much what it looks like inside of VR. It's pretty smooth. So I guess we'll just launch VR chat. See if this will work, or if I'm gonna have terrible. Alright, I got some nice, good old fashioned screen tearing. It's freezing up again. Yeah, not good. It's definitely the memory here is the problem. I'm probably not gonna be able to run much of anything. This is starting to feel like a never-ending nightmare. So I tried to use the Oculus Quest via wireless through the router and virtual desktop to run VR on this PC, but the Ethernet port is not working right. It works sometimes, and when it seems like when it has a lot of data behind it, it just shuts off. And then I have to reset it, so it just wasn't working. So I plugged in my Vive. My Vive seems to be working. I haven't put the headset on, but everything's installed and on, so let's see how that goes. Oh, my eye, it's itchy. Okay, alright. Ooh, 30 frames. Ooh, that's rough. That's pretty rough. Alright, so it looks like that it does run. At least I'm at home right now, in my home world. It runs. It's okay. It's okay. But I'm only running at 32 frames, 34. Not very good for a single avatar in this world. Because I had the headset on, I didn't see what my CPU was doing up here. I've got like 80% on the CPU or 88%, so it's almost tapped out, which is pretty much what I expected. We're running like 30 frames a second. This doesn't look that great. There is ability to overclock the CPU. Maybe I can get it to 3 or 3.4, which would be fantastic. But we'll have to see. For now, this is kind of the vanilla experience with it without being overclocked. And I'm going to go into a world that has people in it and see how cruddy it'll be. Because, oh man, 30 frames, that's rough. I was playing it just on desktop, not in VR. and it was at 90 frames in the home. But when I went into a populated world, it turned out to be more like 15 frames. Fantastic, right? So let's find out. Alright, so I'm in, and as you can see, there's not many avatars being being loaded in right now. In fact, I don't even know what this looks like. Oh, so it's just totally frozen on the screen, which is also pretty frozen for me as well. So, I mean, we got 19 people in here that it has to load up. So we'll see how long this takes. Look at all the errors. What? One avatar that loaded in, and 4 that couldn't load in. And I think about 2 more that are still attempting to load in. Let's check out our frames. Nice! A very respectable 11 frames per second. So that wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. So basically that was pretty unplayable. Running at 11 frames per second, almost no avatars loaded in, and even when I tried to leave, it started shooting me all over the place in the map. Not great. Let's give Beat Saber a try. So I'm sitting in a chair right now, so don't expect anything crazy from me. So far, so good. You know, all the particles are there, everything's working smoothly, just as smooth as it would be on the out there. Oh, I just hit the... okay. Just as smoothly as I would expect my other computer to run it. Beat Saber worked actually pretty well. I had no issues at all, actually. I only played part of one song, but all the particles were doing their thing, and the lights were changing, and everything was hitting on key just right. So, yeah, so Beat Saber works just fine with a Core 2 quad. Surprisingly, this experiment came with mixed results. It is well known that VR chat is CPU intensive and poorly optimized because of the freedom given to creators. And this PC pretty much failed to produce anything but hanging out in a room alone and looking at yourself in the mirror. On the other hand, a game like Beat Saber worked flawlessly, so there is some middle ground that this kind of rig can handle, which is promising. It would be interesting to see how games like Superhot and Rec Room would perform on this rig, but at the same time, those games would probably run just as good, if not better, on the Oculus Quest 2. Begging the question, why the hell did I even try this? Thanks for watching.